Welcome back, everyone. Episode 35, Friday, April 15th of Beast and Boy Sports Talk. And Mikael Bridges to be in jail, right?
Yeah, dude. So to run you guys through what happened, Mikael Bridges got a technical foul, and after getting the technical foul is screaming at basically anyone that will listen, not even listen, but and basically anyone around him he was screaming at, and then he gets a double tech, so he gets thrown out. The one thing I wanted to bring up real quick is this tweet that he put up. So just to preface it, he throws something at the ground, and then he throws his mouthpiece, and it hits, to me, what looks like about a 15, 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, dude.
And this is the only thing I wanted to really point out about this. His tweet says, "Somebody get me in contact with the young lady. That's unacceptable." The phrase "that's unacceptable" makes it sound like you're not the one who did it. Like, it makes it sound like you're
he's
not
talking in the third person.
Like, you Gronk spiked your mouthpiece at a minor who's trying to watch the Hawks win a play-in game.
Congrats, Hawks.
Yeah.
132 to 103.
Do we say that's back-to-back years that they lost in the play-in?
Did they go in the...
Was it...
I think they had a dog doo-doo.
Do you see MJ sitting there? They kept zooming in on Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Well, they see the
crazy.
whole thing. He bought him 2006. Mm-hmm. Last time they won a playoff game was 2002.
When he was playing.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was one of his last years.
Which is insane. Hornets are going to be good next year, I think. They're just such a young team.
They're a year out.
Yeah, they're very... It shows, once the pieces come and LaMelo, once he starts playing more consistent, because it's just hard your first 2 years.
Yeah, and I know that he has a real flashy play style, but this sounds like a weird thing to say, but I'd like for them to be not less flashy, but like a less media-dominant team, because, going, 43 and 39 is cool, but they sure celebrate a lot, they sure taunt a lot, they sure flex a lot for a team that's barely above 500, that's a 10 seed, that's going back to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
All the teams below them in the East are so much weaker than what they are, so...
Yeah. And Hawks now play Cavs, but I don't even believe in the Hawks. Despite me betting on the Hawks during the season.
I like the Cavs. I like the Cavs.
It's just way more complete of a team. It's just
for sure.
The Hawks are kind of like the Blazers, the past couple of years, where it's we live and die on the 3-point line. If we can't shoot or free throws, if we can't shoot our threes, we're gonna crumble.
And Trey started the game 3 for 11 or 3 for 12.
Yeah.
Melo started the game 3 for 11. It was a slow start.
Yeah, sloppy, but it's just ridiculous. And then who was it? Yeah, Kevin.
Kevin Hunter or Daniil Hunter. Oh, Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, Kevin Huerter
went off.
Yeah, 13.
But at halftime he had 13.
I
don't think he played in the second. He played, but at halftime his team was playing trash, and he was the only one scoring. But
it was a definitely interesting game, but
not super competitive in any sense.
No. And then the other game of the night, my boy, still, I'll always root for him, CJ McCollum, dude. That's what they needed. The Pelicans won 113 to 103 versus San Antonio. They're gonna go now to play the Clippers.
Yep.
But dude, CJ, man, they needed that veteran presence, the guy who's been in the playoffs, who showed up in big games. I remember. I watched them all. 32 points. He was. I think he had 27 in the half or something. He just balled out.
Yeah, and
3 for 5 for 3-pointers, 12 for 23.
5 for 5 on free throws, which is very important.
Plus 16. He was the ball.
He was the team. When he was on the court, they were being successful.
It's always around that playoff time where CJ's just an Iron Man. Literally 39 points.
Even throwing in 7 assists is very impressive at someone who's not playing point guard. He might have been in that lineup, but it's
Jackson Hayes and Valanciunas.
It's a 2-center, 2 small forward shooting guard lineup.
Yeah.
So and then Jose Alvarado. If you can talk about his story, dude gets bumped up from the G League on a 10-day swinging contract, and then gets a real 2-year contract, making real money, and then has had an impact on a team that might make the playoffs. It's very impressive, and it cannot be overlooked.
With how dysfunctional this whole entire organization is, just the front
let
office.
alone Zion Williamson.
That whole thing is so
everything.
weird. You don't even know who to believe in that whole thing. Is it Zion or is it the front office?
I blame Zion, but
I don't know.
Anyway.
It's so weird. But with Brandon Ingram, 27 points as well.
It's nothing outside of super impressive. That is the only way I can describe it. It is super impressive.
That trade was so crucial for them.
And like, yes, they didn't have a winning record. I mean, we're not talking about a team that. I mean, they didn't even hit 500. I don't even think it all in the season, but a team that was losing, that lost, and actually never played this year, the number one pick in Zion Williamson, to be able to compete at that level, be able to beat the Spurs. When I don't give a crap who is on the Spurs. When Greg Popovich is the coach, and
it's like Belichick.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like there's always a chance, and they have the young stars, and I mean it's very impressive. So.
Oh yeah, good playing games. Good playing games so far, and
for sure.
It's just so interesting with the whole Zion thing. If I don't think he'll come back this year, but it's just like these guys just play as a team and scrappy, and they just need that veteran presence who's kind of he's been there. He's been in these kind of big moments, and
I don't think a single other person outside of Bi.
Larry Nance Jr. He was in the finals, right? With LeBron.
Yeah, but he was
that's weird to say.
He was a bench warmer, but yeah. Moving on to the next game, I really want to talk about Pat Bev.
Okay. I didn't know how long we were gonna hold this for, but Pat Bev. Oh my gosh. So Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Clippers to advance into the playoffs.
Patrick Beverley's old team, just for those of you.
Yeah, old team. Beat them 104-109 in a great game.
Great.
So much story is what unfolded. I've never been a huge Pat Bev fan because he always talked trash to Lillard. I just like it just annoys me. But when it's those guys where it's like he's not playing you, he's like that's funny. It's just like
my old boss Matt, who's a Lakers fan, he'd always say he's a player that you'd love to have on your team, but you hate when you're playing against.
Oh my gosh, he just
like if he was a Warrior, I love it. Mm-hmm. But when he's against the Warriors and he's chirping at stuff, I'm like, someone hit him! Like someone.
he's like a goon for like hockey, you know?
Yeah.
He's like I will get technicals, I'll do whatever. Like the whole thing with Marcus Morris.
Yes.
Where like he knew he had a technical, and he goes, all right, I'm going to make sure he gets fouled out. Just slapping him.
I mean, the fact that Minnesota won this game when with 6 minutes left in the second quarter, Karl Anthony Towns had 4 fouls. Four fouls. He was playing so sloppy. The last one, there's no excuse. It wasn't that it wasn't called on him. It wasn't. It was more of like my brain goes to, you've been in the league for, let's say 7 years on the light side, 6-7 years.
Yeah.
There is no reason for you as a center to be smacking arms when you know you have 3 fouls and you've played like 16 minutes. He played 24 minutes the whole game due to foul trouble. But, I mean, to me, it was I don't want to, it sounds disrespectful, but it was a rookie mistake for a player who's not even in their first half of their, he is very much a veteran getting into that point where you've been a starter for 6 years. I mean, it's unexcusable, but the fact that they were still able to win, and then they celebrated like they just swept the Warriors.
So what do you think about that?
I think it's pathetic. I think it's absolutely pathetic. I think you didn't have I think you barely had a winning record. I think your star player played like a rookie, and I think that you celebrated like what? Like, oh my God, we got the 7th seed to get absolutely ran by. Who did we just say that they play? By the Grizzlies, you're gonna go 4-1. You might win one game at home. That's my take. I think it's pathetic.
Understandable. There was parts where I was like, all right, but I don't know. As a sports fan, what I've come to a conclusion, it was like an opening because I'm a Blazer fan. Haven't seen us win a championship. It's just like there's these memories, and they played it like it was a playoff game, and it's one of the worst. Like the sports fandom in Minnesota might be one of the worst things of all time.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of a Minnesota sports team, I'm so sorry because you've been through hell and back.
Yeah.
There's nothing good. Like I think the last thing was like the Minneapolis Miracle, but you still got Kirk Cousins.
And you still didn't win a Super Bowl.
It's miserable. It's absolutely miserable. So that little hint of just winning, it was just.
But you don't understand think there has to be levels to this shit? Like, so but there has to be levels. Like, I mean, I get the excitement. I get the competitive nature of playing in a playoff game. I get Pat Bev, especially playing against your old team. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I get every step of the way. But at some point, when they land in Memphis, Tennessee, and they lose 2 games, and they get on that plane back to Minneapolis, and then you lose another game. Whoa. Like, they would be lucky to go win 1 game. And I'm saying it right now, they likely will get swept. I think they get swept.
It's all about, like, the stories, man. Like, that's what sports is all about. It's just these stories, like, St. Peter's, no matter the run,
Yeah,
Because guess what?
Doug Eddard, if that dude hopped on top of the scores table after winning one game, I would have said,
Oh, that would be so sick.
No,
That would be so sick.
It wouldn't. My opinion, I don't want to argue, but I think my take is that you're taking away from what it actually is like to win something that matters, to win something that has an impact on a team, a city. That has no impact on a team or a city. You made a playoff series.
For Minnesota,
Congrats.
100% for Minnesota. If it's Detroit, totally, because they haven't just won. When you're these franchises who just haven't, because it's one team what wins a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's one team. So if you can't just be happy for a moment,
But it's a play-in game, dude. It's something that needs to be taken. It already is a joke. The thought of a play-in game to me is already comedy. It is a joke. I mean, we saw in the East, 3 of the 4 teams playing in the playoff game don't have a winning record. You should not be playing. That is ridiculous. You know what it gives me the vibes of? When the Jags cheer when they win the coin toss. You ever seen that? Like when the Jaguars, because they're so bad and they don't win, when they win a coin toss, the crowd goes crazy because it might be the only highlight of that game.
Yeah.
That's the vibes it gives me. It gives me, we're going to get swept, but at least we made it.
I just think, at the end of the day, I just come to a conclusion. It's just like, it's just gonna make those memories, whether or not they win or lose. It made me sound like that's fun. You just gotta have. It just showed like, well, they had fun, but obviously they went to another extent. But them cheering, I'll be like, hey, go ahead, just go ahead. But
I draw the line when you hop on top of the scores table. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, get down.
Honestly, it wasn't even that for me. I think the point where I was like, all right, this is getting out of hand, was when Patrick Beverly was drinking a beer in the press conference.
He got fined for that and got fined for saying the F word like 4 times. Yeah. No, that's like, okay, I totally agree with you on the story side. Like, yes, it's a big deal for an organization, yes, but you have to draw a line somewhere. And I draw the line when Buddy's cracking a beer. Like, to me, if Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, if any of the top, like, let's say 14 players did that, people would go, what in the hell is Steph Curry drinking a beer after winning against the Clippers team that doesn't have their star player? Paul George played 14 games this whole year. Like, this is not anything to be. That was like champagne. I was like, next thing you know, he's going to be in the locker room.
It was very funny.
It was funny.
It was funny, but it was at the same time I was like, you gotta at least I appreciate that they kind of have that human aspect where just you gotta enjoy it. You gotta enjoy this win. Also, I just hate the Clippers. I just hate the LA team.
Yeah.
So it's like cool.
Yeah.
It's built a story for Patrick Beverly because
for sure.
I remember watching like the JJ Redick podcast where we were building something. We were doing something, and all of a sudden they're like, nope, we're getting 2 guys.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't been really panning out. But a guy I think we should talk about is Anthony Edwards. He's so young. He's been inconsistent. It's just when you're young, he's
so talented.
You're trying to find
he's proven why he was the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
something Zion hasn't done. Something consistently in the NBA that people haven't done. He's proven 2 years in.
So much talent, and he grew 2 inches in the offseason. He was 6'3" last year. He grew 6'5".
So did LaMelo, because LaMelo got drafted at 6'7", and now he's listed at 6'9". It's
because these guys are
young,
18, 19.
Yeah.
They're literally our age. So
I mean, it's something that
gives me hope to grow, get a little taller.
We'll be 6 foot by the end of this year.
Yep.
No, I mean it's something that I wonder. I mean, not wonder. I think in the future we're going to start to see only in the NBA, because the NFL or college football has different rules and when you can enter the draft. I think we're actually going to see teams having these guys that are under 20 meeting with doctors to see if it's possible they continue to grow, for good or for bad. I mean, there's not really bad growing in basketball unless you're aiming for someone that would play a small point guard. But even that, there's no benefit. Like, there's no, like, if LaMelo can be 6'9" and play point and Steph can be 6'2", like, why would you choose the 6? I mean, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So transition to a little Kyrie Irving perfect Ramadan game.
So the next game, Cleveland lost to the Brooklyn Nets. 108, 115. What do you think? Now the Brooklyn Nets are going to go face the Celtics. Rumor
7-game series. It'll be 7.
Yeah.
I think it. No, I'm not saying there's 3.
Yeah.
I think it'll go 7. I know it's 7.
I think Robert Williams might be coming back. They said there's a probable chance.
He's the X factor.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been saying that for 2 years since they drafted him, and I know that they've always had this weird. The Celtics. I mean, they sent him away and they brought him back, but they've had this weird Al Horford love. It's like not to be Colin Cowherd, but it's like the girlfriend they keep going back to. It's like you break up and one day she texts you, and all of a sudden she's back. And
you relate to that, buddy?
it's hard for me to wrap my head around it. Especially, I mean, last year we saw Robert Williams. I think he was playing about 14 to 18 minutes a game. I mean, I could be completely mistaken, but his development. I mean, I know he's not up for most improved player mainly because he's not putting up big numbers, but having him on the court and not having him on the court is the difference between, in my opinion, between Brooklyn winning this series 4-2 and making it look easy and having people go, okay, why the hell are they the 7th seed? Mm-hmm. And the difference between them forcing a 7-game series that to me is a coin flip. What do you feel?
This is my take. With or without Robert Williams, Celtics are winning in 6.
Okay.
I think they even take one in Brooklyn.
Okay.
If it takes Brooklyn a Kyrie game to going unstoppable, literally going 100% at halftime.
13 for 13 and a half. That was absurd.
And Cleveland shooting 36%, 34% from field goal.
From 3.
And only losing by 6.
That's actually not a bad shooting spread, though. You're looking at it wrong. It's 34%.
Yeah,
44.
Yeah, so 40.
Off game, though, for sure.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it takes a perfect game.
Yeah.
It's that point where I'm like,
I guess my worry,
and even without Robert Williams out, Celtics been playing complete basketball, just like complete basketball.
What did they finish at? They finished at the 2 seed.
Yeah.
So they went from the 11 to the 2 seed
after Christmas,
but in 37 days they were 1 game behind, jumping up to 10, and in I think it was 37 or 38 days they literally jumped from the 11 to the 2.
Yeah,
I mean, we just watched Brooklyn win like 6 or 7 straight to end the season and jump from 11 to 7, which to me was impressive. Smaller gap, smaller games played, and that. But I mean, literally they went okay, and then not having Robert Williams though, it worries me because I think that it's not even controversial at this point. No one in the world can guard Kevin Durant. No one can. You can try to stop him. You can size someone up that's a similar size, but he's going to shoot 50% and he's going to drop between 24 and 32 points. I mean, I think that's a fair statement, but I think having Robert Williams adds something to the equation where if Tatum's guarding him and he's driving into the key or into up top, you can throw Robert Williams, which is funny because I don't think Robert Williams is very tall. I mean, let's just look real quick. He's 6'9", so KD's taller than him, and I think that Tatum is like 6'10". So but I'm saying that having both of those guys, Tatum's 6'8", and 6'9", so they both can guard him. And then I go to Jaylen Brown, who can match up at least with Kyrie, someone else, so that no one can guard them. But it goes both ways. I don't see Kyrie Irving switching on Jason Tatum and having any luck guarding Tatum. I don't see Jaylen Brown struggling in ISO situations against Kyrie. Like I'm not saying anything like that.
But it's just great. They've been playing such great team basketball where I feel like they all kind of clicking now. We're like, okay, this is how we're supposed to play to win, to actually win. And if it's just gonna take two, granted, Kevin Durant and Kyrie are when together, it's like 2 of the top 5 players in the NBA. Mm-hmm. It's just what the supporting cast.
I mean, I would argue that, but basketball's too hard.
Yeah, you keep isoing, like screening, get to Bruce Brown or something, Seth Curry, and just drive.
It makes it so hard. I mean, even the argument of 2 of 5 though is so hard because I heard Joel Embiid the other day when JJ Redick said him and KD 2 of the best 3. Mm-hmm. But I mean that Joel gave the example of naming 4 guys, and he goes, okay, so Joel, KD, Kyrie, Steph, Giannis, Joker. Mm-hmm. How do you take those 6 and try to rank? It's impossible to me, mainly because of position, because of what you do. Yeah, just everyone is so different.
Skill based.
I think skill based. I think it's totally anyone can argue, but I don't think it's even fair to say that they're not 2 of the top 6 at all.
Yeah, they're when healthy and when just able to play. It's just ridiculous. It's just not built for the team all around him. Yeah, Seth Curry is. I think that was a good trade for him, but he was doing a lot of running.
He was running around. I mean, I think part of that is he hasn't clicked in. Fun fact, where I think some of us are forgetting. There's this dude named Ben Simmons who apparently might be able to come back game 4. I don't mean to cut you off. Yeah. My prediction is he doesn't play this. What's your take?
I don't know. I got caught up in the Instagram story. I'm gonna be honest. I did get caught up. I go, oh, dude, there actually might. It's not like I'm a Ben Simmons fan, and then all of a sudden there's reports coming out that the Nets players are tired of him already. He hasn't even played a game. Which
I think that they're tired of him No, I don't want to say milking. If he's genuinely injured, he's genuinely injured. Dude could have literally could have had ACL surgery. They could have fixed it and broken. He hasn't played in a year.
Back injury.
I mean, I know, but I'm saying Michael Porter Jr., who's someone who has chronic back problems. He just had his 3rd back surgery. He fell in the draft because of it, but he's going to be back. I mean, he's someone that MPJ's missed less time. He's getting a 3rd back surgery for chronic pain. It makes no logical sense to me of why we're not okay, but why it's been acceptable for him to sit out for a year. He's suing an old team. He had his phone in his paw. I mean, to me, I don't want to hate on him. I don't want to really say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Once the dude's on the court, I'm going to evaluate his play, and I'm going to everything else to me, I'm going to block out.
Because James Harden, he ate his way out of the Rockets and kept throwing balls at players. Like he did. Players are nowadays are just going to do whatever they can to get out of a situation.
Yeah.
Now he's in this place, and it's just so weird to me how it's he's injured still. But it's what happened?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, NBA does not have, so the NFL has I'm blanking on the word, you have to pass a health test. Physical, sorry, that's what I was, you just pass a physical. The NBA does not have that, so, I mean, it's something, I mean, I don't want to play commissioner here, but it's something that I would love to give to, I mean, no one's going to listen, no NBA commissioners listen, but I would love for them to at least discuss the idea, because we saw teams earlier this year trade injured players. Trade players.
Miami, dude.
Well, no, but I don't mean that. I mean, I'm blanking on who, but there was a team earlier who traded a guy who... Yes, who was not going to come back that year. There was another team who traded a guy with a torn Achilles. It's for contract purposes. But I would love for the NBA commissioners to step in and be like, you have 2 options when someone's hurt. You keep him or you cut him. You cut him, you pay their salary. You keep him, you're paying what your guaranteed money is. I think trading someone and making someone else eat the cap so you can... pay someone. To me, it's sleazy. I don't like it.
Chris LeVert, he also actually played this game.
Yes.
Where was he?
He played 40.
40 minutes, 12 points. I mean, did not shoot very great. The whole team didn't shoot great, really.
7 and 3 steals, though, on top of that justifies a little bit, but
he played hard. That whole Cavs team plays hard, but he didn't even know he had heart. It was heart or something. Problem. Yeah. Until he got traded from to the Pacers. No, to the Cavs.
From the Pacers.
Oh, no. It was from the Nets.
No,
to the Pacers.
No, it wasn't. He went from Brooklyn to Indianapolis to look up Karis LeVert trade. Yeah. He was on Indianapolis. I played with him on 2K.
Well, yeah.
He was there, and then he got traded from.
So he was from the Nets and then Pacers.
Back to the Nets.
What? And then back to the Pacers?
Oh, it was a 3-way trade. Okay. So I think that he didn't actually. I remember. I think he just jumped around. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was one year where they're like, "Well, dude, you actually have a heart problem or something."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What?"
So anyway,
but there got to be a rule where it's you can't just trade injured players that just can't work like that, you know.
You want to make some 8 seed predictions and jump into to some rounds just to
So Cavs versus the who is it?
Why am I
Hawks? I think Cavs are just way better, well-rounded team. There's nothing even to say about that, unless Trae Young just gets 30 fouls.
To me, the Hawks are too much of a live and die on the 3-pointer team. So I think if they go out there and Trae's on his game and Clint starts getting boards and Hunter I think it's very, very possible that. I mean, they shoot the lights out, and we see them up 12 at half, and they kind of carry a lead on in. Cavs are definitely the more all well-rounded team, where I could see them having an off night and still winning.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's really hard for me to put a finger on it and say, here's who's going to win and here's not. But I'm going to ride Hawks. I think that Trae pops off, drops 35, and I think the Hawks win.
Understandable. It's just
I'm not confident. It's quite the coin flip in that situation.
Yeah, and then next game is the Clippers versus the Pelicans. I don't know why, but I feel underdogs with CJ, man. I really... Yes, Pelicans are right now +4.
Hawks are -2, just for previous game.
I
am going to say... Yeah, I like Pelicans. I really do. I don't know if I like the 4, but I'm not saying I think I like the 4 less than them straight out. I think if they lose, I think it's a very, very close game. They fight till the end. I mean, I think this is I think this team is a team that no matter what happens in basketball, you better be scared for what they do. Whether it be LeBron goes there with his son who's going to be undrafted because he's not that good, or whether it be they just build what they have there. I think that the future is super bright. This sounds weird to say, but it reminds me of like a Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because it's the same
Yeah,
state.
they just
They're both
play
in
hard.
Ohio, but play hard, young talent. They have the cap space. They have the coaching staff. They have people that want to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember a few years ago, it was like Kevin Love did not want to be there. Like, I think he.
I remember the coach thing where you like.
Yes. I think that I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong if you remember this, he said in an interview a while ago that there was a point where he just did not want to play there. Where he was sitting out games strictly because he did not want to be there. That is not the case.
No.
Like, he is a role player on that team now, but that is not the case in any way. I mean,
No, they got big.
Yeah.
A lot of huge guys like Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just
between
ridiculous.
him, Jared Allen, it looks like
like
he's 47. People forget the dude's like in his 4th year.
Yeah.
Like, he is a very young guy.
He's bounced around a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Evan Mobley, like, probably my favorite young guy, for sure. And I don't mean, like, the under 25. I mean, like, last 2 years. Like, he is one of my favorites. Mainly because I loved watching him at USC. I love watching his brother play. I think his brother's going to be a sleeper. I think they're predicting him late first to early second. Mm-hmm. I think that's someone else. I mean, he's a little smaller. He plays a little bit more of the power forward. I think he's, like, not a lot smaller. I think he's 6'10" instead of 7'1", but super impactful. So I think someone that could fall under the radar. I'm just a big fan of the team. I've enjoyed watching them.
Yeah, Cavs, fun team. I think they're gonna win though.
They did fall from the 2 to the 8 seed.
Yeah, well, that whole East is so.
It's so stacked. And when
where with they didn't play. They haven't been playing great without Jared Allen, but
them and the Bulls though, we saw them basically go from 2-3 and even 1-3 at one point, falling all the way down
Bulls
to 6 and 8.
Bulls can't beat a good team. Bulls cannot beat.
Yeah, same thing. The Bulls had the same problem though. When Alex Caruso went out, the rotations became
and then
weird.
Lonzo's out.
Lonzo was out for a very big period. Again, those two teams, Bulls and Cavs, like do not forget about them when next season rolls around. I mean, I know it's a while out and we're not even touching playoffs, but like that is the future of the NBA. Those are two teams that you will see in the Eastern playoff, I would think, for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And then
should we jump into some series predictions?
Yeah. So let's go to the West. 1st and 8. So I think we both got Pelicans. So Suns versus Pelicans is going to be like Suns.
Call me a janitor because get your broom out.
Yeah, that's going to be.
It's a 4-game series. Call it a swing.
I seriously think this Suns team is freaking legit this year.
Yep. I could not agree more.
Yeah. Next game, Dallas Mavericks, who.
Sorry to say, you're saying 4 games in that too. I just want to.
Yeah. Sweet.
I just wanted to.
Oh yeah. Next is Dallas Mavericks versus the Jazz, 4th and 5th seed.
But those are always the best matchups.
Yes, great. Just
did you settle at the same record? You typically had. Yeah, I mean those are.
And then reports came out that Luka Doncic, he played the last game and sprained his calf.
Made me really mad. I know that I don't mean to say this in a weird way. He's not an American basketball player. He's not a part of this. Let's sit out every day. My shoulder is sore. My head hurt. Like he plays in the more European style. Like if my body's there, I'm there. In that scenario, I don't know if I'm mistaken. They couldn't have fallen to the sixth seed. The farthest they could have fallen was to the 5th seed, which would keep them playing the Jazz. The only thing that would
they could have gotten third
if the Warriors lost, but they won 6 straight to the end of the year, so that was not happening. Hot take, Luka or not, Mavs in 6. Like, I think Luka will come back, but I'm thinking if he doesn't play game 1, I still think it's Mavs in 6. If he doesn't play the series, and this is more, it'll be Jazz in 5. Yeah. But
it's just Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs is
it's a different guy.
It's such a different sight to see. It's like he did average like 25 points this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when it comes time to playoff, like you saw in the bubble,
he'll drop 30s. I would think half of these games he'll drop 30s.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think I do think that Mavericks do win though.
I think Mavs in 7. I'm actually gonna change it. I think that Luka, for sure.
Yeah, if he's out for the first 2 games,
I think they're gonna play like now that we've made that, I think they're going to do exactly what the Warriors are going to do. I think it's likely Steph doesn't play game 1.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, the Warriors still win game 1 as they're, Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole have been proven to be
All right, we're back.
I would say I think that no one on this team can match up with Joker. But with that being said, he's not dropping a 50 piece. He's not dropping a 40 piece. The best he's going to do is 35, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
And to who? I mean, I just think that I think with Steph, I'm calling it 4-1 all day. All day money, like easy money. Without Steph, I'm a little more of like I could see it going 2-2, and then having it head back to San Francisco and having the Warriors kind of start to.
Warriors are great. They're obviously great. The only thing with kind of like last couple month and a half usually this year was like just like the inconsistent, like not very consistent on the final stretch. Like 30-point games and then just really bad shooting night.
For who? Sorry.
Like Jordan Poole and like Klay, like obviously they like big games and then just really low games.
I like to jump in. That's absolutely not true about Jordan Poole, though. I mean, he has 20 games.
Oh yeah, he's definitely
he's above 20 points. I mean, he hasn't had an off game. I mean, his off game is 20 points, shooting 40%. And even Klay dropped a season high and then 230 pieces back there. Klay had hot and cold streaks. Poole has. I mean, he's developed into like a. I mean, I would be scared if I'm the rest of the West.
It's very interesting, but I do think Warriors are going to win 6. I think it's just. What I watched now a lot of Jokic. He's in their same conference. It's weird on how he wins games. It's not like 30 points, but it's just like the biggest 30 points. He's just all around. Like I watched a whole fourth quarter with 6 minutes left. One of the games like this year, he just completely took over. I was like, what just happened? Like they were down by like 12, like 15. I go, how did that happen? It's be interesting how they guard Jokic how they double.
They'll double him. I mean, they have no one else. That's my point. But if Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray are back and no Steph, I think I would sit here and tell you that I don't think the Warriors win that series.
Because I remember last year with the Blazers, how they tried to beat that team was they just literally just guarded everyone else super tightly and just say, all right, Jokic, you're gonna go off, but no one else is gonna go off.
And
it just didn't work out though. It just did not work out.
So, I guess my big takeaway, one, the Warriors starting 5, and what I mean by that is what the new starting 5 is. James Wiseman is not on the team. Pull me up on that. I want to see it. Steph, Klay, Jordan Poole, Dre, and Andrew Wiggins have played 0 minutes together this year. So when they're together, look at this. I mean, this dude is
really great.
This dude is young.
Stretch,
I mean, you got to remember he's 22. He's in his second year.
Yeah,
and he is balling out. I mean, 30s, 20s. But I think that when we saw Klay heat up the other day, I think Klay dropped 34 the other night. I guess I just think it's weird to say, but one of those 3 guys, Steph, Klay, and Jordan Poole, could have a complete off night, and they're still winning basketball games. Like if Klay goes in and goes 1 for 4 to start the game, 1 for 6, let's just even say, you sub in Jordan Poole, and all of a sudden we have something. And I mean, I think it allows something that the Warriors have had very little of, which is having the guards have depth. Where if Steph has to go to the bench for 3 minutes in the middle of the third, I don't care. If it's Jordan Poole and Klay and rotating in and out, and I guess I just think that they're more stacked than people would like to see, and the addition of Jordan Poole, I mean, going from, I don't know what he averaged last year, but he should win Most Improved Player, I mean, in my opinion. I think he went from about 12 to 18, bumped all of his shooting percentages up, but very impressive.
The dude is going to be a legit star. Like, now, I'm going to play hypothetical GM for you. Let's say Klay just does not have a good playoff series, like the rest of the playoffs. You're looking at that salary, and you look at this offseason, you go, what if I trade Klay?
He's here forever. You sound like Colin Cowherd.
Well,
I understand the proposition.
Yeah.
He's here forever. I mean,
I understand. Yeah,
he's not leaving. It would take him tearing an ACL again. Knock on wood, that will not happen.
Yeah.
It would take a severe injury, and that would be barring Klay getting traded. He won't go anywhere. I think it's more likely we literally see them give him a supermax and pay the luxury tax.
Yeah, it's just so. I feel like in the next 2 or 3, even next year, it's just going to be very hard keeping that dude on the bench.
He won't be. Why would he be on the bench?
Well, how tall is Klay?
Klay's 6'5".
6'5".
So it'll be Steph at point, Klay at shooting guard, Jordan Poole running a small 3, Dre at 4, Wiseman at 5, and Wiggins is rotating they have 6 starters when Wiseman's there. Or you take out Wiggins, or you take out Wiseman, and Wiggins is the 4 and Dre's the 5.
Yeah.
That's what Steve Kerr said. They're starting with their entire team back is Steph 1, Clay 2, Poole 3, Wiggins 4, Dre 5.
Yeah.
We're playing small ball 2017 Warriors, no center, which worries me against the Nuggets. Like to me,
Yeah.
But then you have Kevin Looney, he played every game this season. He came back off an injury, he played every game this season. And the dude is not a superstar, he doesn't shine bright, but does he play good defense, get a lot of rebounds? Yeah, but
yeah.
Dude, both saying Warriors in 5 or 6. I'm changing mine to 5.
Next game, Memphis versus Timberwolves. Timberwolves did fall off a lot.
Get your broom.
The last couple last month, but I mean they were 4th in the middle of the majority of the year. I think it might be 7-game series. I think it's gonna go to 6 or 7. They just with the whole defense. Cat's gonna be interesting, but it's not like they just have Steven Adams. It's gonna be very interesting. Just it's 2 very young teams.
He's saying 7. I'm saying 5. I'm going 4-1. I think that they win at a very I don't even think there's a coin flip that they don't even make the game. But
it's I don't know. I'm very excited for this. Usually I'm not really excited.
I'm excited for it because I think Shaw's going to average 35 with Pat Bev guarding.
Because it's 2 teams who haven't been in the playoffs, and it's going to be insane. Okay, let's see how you guys play in these high stakes now. I'm very just interested to see everything, and I love both of the young cores. Both young cores.
Me too. One's a lot more dominant than the other.
It's going to be very interesting how they play.
But you still have Memphis winning, correct?
Yeah. I think I'll probably have Memphis.
So should we go to the East, or do you want to make a conference champion?
No, not yet. Let's go to the East. How about Heat versus? I think we got Cavs, right? Yeah, we both got. That's gonna be Heat. I think Heat in 5. I don't know. Heat's a weird team. It's a weird team, and the Cavs are just play so tough.
It's hard.
Do you think Cavs could get 2 off of them?
I think they can get 2. I think that the Heat. I think people underestimate this team. I mean, they're a 1 seed. I think people hate Jimmy Butler. I think people like to laugh at Kyle Lowry. I think people forget Bam Adebayo exists. I think people forget.
Yeah.
They're a team that. I mean, I think you could say Warriors, Suns, Celtics, Nets have all gotten more media attention, and they're the 1 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the 1 seed. The only other team should be getting more attention than them is the Suns.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very good. Again, I think Cleveland, mainly because of the rotations. I mean, playoff rotations get small. That's why I think that Warriors team is built for the playoffs. If you have 6 starters, it's kind of ideal.
Yeah.
You're rotating one guy in and out. They kind of have a similar situation where they have their rotation can get small enough where they're just literally rotating 7 guys.
Yeah.
Same as the Heat, though. Their 6-man rotation is gnarly.
Yeah, I especially playing a playoff game without LeBron in Cleveland. That's gonna be crazy. You already know that's gonna be crazy. So I do think it's gonna be Heat in 6 for sure.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I really can, and I could not agree with you more. That place is gonna go nuts. I mean,
the first time.
I mean, Miami's seen. I mean, they actually haven't seen it because the last time they were there, they didn't have fans.
Yeah.
So I would guess that they're gonna have a big attendance, but Cleveland will. I mean, it'll be
ridiculous.
It'll sell out. It'll be. If you want to go to a game, you live in Ohio, go to that. I mean, that's gonna be amazing basketball.
Yeah.
So
And
we
then
both agree with that.
next, 76ers versus Toronto.
You go first because I have a take on this.
This is interesting because I really we'll also spin into another segment about Toronto.
Yeah.
So I love 76ers' whole supporting cast.
For sure.
It's just there's gonna be it's gonna be big spotlight on James Harden this entire playoff run.
100%.
100%. It's just I don't know if it's gonna be all up to James Harden. Really, I don't like being that guy, but it's just man, are you gonna show up like 20, 14? Like 20 points, 14 assists.
There's someone today that said his shooting in the last 5 games sounded like a concert date: 4 for 10, 4 for 13, 4 for 11.
Yeah, it really has not been
jumping
good.
West Coast cities.
It Joel Embiid, he's been a beast.
Well, that I guess that's my takeaway though. Is
It's
that Harden can struggle 2 games and Joel can drop 30 and 10.
Yeah,
it's
he's
not a problem.
beast. And then you got Tyrese Maxey and Halliburton and all these guys.
I'm worried about Matisse Thybulle with we don't say the word, but with the laws and all sort of requirements. I'm gonna leave it at that. He can't travel. For those games. So he's ineligible to play those games.
Which is
his has to do directly with medical reasons. So I'm not the biggest fan of that. Leave it at that. But Big impact. People don't understand that. He might not start after Harden was there. He's the best defensive player in the league. He won't win Defensive Player of the Year, but strictly defense. Like, I'm not talking about steal. Like, if you watch, he can guard your best player every night. I mean, against all other 29 teams, he'll guard your best guy. So not having him is big. The thing I really wanted to bring up about Toronto, they finished the season with 5 guys. Their 5 starters all averaging 15 a game.
Yeah,
That's absurd. That's absurd.
Every other game was like, oh, it was either Siakam, Gary Trent, who I've loved.
I've always loved him. I loved him in Portland.
When we drafted him in the second round, I go,
this dude's good.
Like this guy in the G League, he balled.
I was happy to see him go to somewhere that he can be.
Yeah, because no way we're going to pay him that much.
No, but having 5 guys drop 15, you have to think about it the way. I'm not saying that all guys average 15.1. What I'm saying is, one night Scotty Barnes drops a 20 piece. One night Pascal's dropping a 20. I mean, it was quite honestly like that. Van Fleet, and they all across the board averaged out to 15 points a game. The threat of that in the playoffs is you don't even need that. I mean, but if you have all guys average, you have 3 guys average 12 and 3 guys average 25, and there's your dub.
Dude,
like
it's scary, and their defense. I think the biggest leadership they need is definitely Siakam and Van Fleet, because these guys
been there.
They've been in this situation.
They have a ring on their finger for a reason. I mean,
they beat this team in the playoffs.
Yes.
To go.
Yes.
Like this is huge rivalry. Is it crazy to say? I think this could definitely go to 7.
I'm saying Sixers and 7.
Yeah. I think definitely think so, and I think that it's going to paint a narrative though on the 76ers.
It will.
Because Toronto team, this team's so young, it's all up from here. Scotty Barnes.
I know that they're not in our country. They're very close. It's no reason for them to be overworked the way they are. I know that media attention's a lot less. I don't think I'm being exaggerating to say they don't play fun basketball, and that's not me like just talking down on them. They play team basketball,
and I feel like that's all these young teams right now.
Yeah, the Cavs.
The Cavs, even the West. You know, like.
The Mavs, dude. They traded their starting center who was on a supermax. I mean,
they're like, let's just play team basketball.
For being honest, yeah.
So it's so smart. It's so smart.
Yeah. Let's jump down to just keep it going because we still have a bunch of games.
Oh yeah, sorry. Lakers want Nick Nurse. That's all I wanted to talk. Like spins on that. We're trying to target.
I said it episode 1. I'll say it again. It's a retirement home. The championships are up. The bubble is closed. Disneyland is closed for the summer. It's over. The run is over. Like you're not getting Nick Nurse. You're not getting any of these teams. I've heard every one of these teams that made it to the playoffs. We want this guy. You're not getting a guy. No. This isn't college football.
No, I don't.
You don't pick a coach.
I don't think Nick Nurse even would want to go there.
Someone said they cannot talk to him. He would have to ask to get fired. He would have to ask to get fired before even speaking to them without breaking rules.
Get traded.
Or get traded. Like a coach. Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't even want to talk about it. They didn't make the playoffs. They won't make the playoffs next year.
Yeah,
to me, they're what they are. They're a 12 seed that does not deserve my attention, or an 11 seed.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. Like they can't just do that. It's not like, well, we want this coach, we're going to target him. Like, well, that's not happening. You see the young team he has. He's going to
I'm saying it again, but I like my college. It's not college basketball. You can't call up anyone you want and offer to triple their salary, and they pack their bags and walk out the front door the next day.
No. So that's enough Laker talk. Bucks versus I don't know why I said that. Bucks versus Bulls. That's going to be a sweep. That's all I.
4-1. Chicago gets game 3 at home.
Yeah, and like DeMar DeRozan,
and a DeRozan heater. Yeah,
he brought.
I don't mean to skip over it, but. You'll see where how far the Bucks go for me. It's not up for debate.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't think it's worth even speaking on a whole lot more.
No, reigning.
I think we already said that we both think Celtics Nets are going to go 7. Who's your official winner? As this is the last side of round 1.
I think it's going to be Celtics 6.
Okay, I have Nets and 7.
They're definitely dangerous. It's just such a coin. That's probably the series I'm very excited to see because there's just so much star power.
So 10 guys on the court are all stars.
It's like
it's like. I mean, if you want to watch, I would say that game and Sixers Raptors.
Yeah.
If you want to watch 2 series where I would say every time you turn on the TV, it'll be competitive and be all 10
almost
guys.
Going into overtime every game.
Every game.
Like
every halftime should be within about 5 points.
Yeah.
I would guess that. I think it's fair to say. I don't know if either of those series will have like a 12-plus point win. Mm-hmm. I really don't. So, let's just move quick and pick some
Yeah.
conference champs, just because we don't know if we're right.
Yeah.
I don't want to like go in full details on Warriors. And you start from Suns top.
Yeah,
Pick your
Suns.
two, and then-
Suns, Dallas. I think I got Suns.
I have Suns, but it goes 7. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah.
With Luka back, I think if and I'm going to say if just because if this injury is more severe than we think, calf strains have direct ties with Achilles tears. I don't want to think about it, but the worry is you bring him back early and it becomes worse. If and when they make it, I think they really push them. I don't think it's because they're as good as them. I just think it's the matchups. They match up very well.
And the supporting cast. I feel like Suns just have such a
good supporting
good supporting cast around.
I would say the same
Cam
thing.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Like great guys.
I guess I just feel
defensive player of the year. No, that was Marcus Smart.
I was gonna say, I think with Tim Hardaway, with Burke, I mean they have the Mavs. They might not be flashy names, but they're slowly but surely that starting 5 is signed for a few years. I mean Tim Hardaway's got a big contract. And they're signing the guys. I think my take right now is in the 2023 playoffs, the Mavericks will be in the the Mavs will be in the conference championship as a 2 seed. And I don't think that's very far fetched.
Yeah.
They'll have the second biggest salary coming out of the West, and they have a guy who I think is the most talented young guy in the league.
Yeah.
But as that being said, Suns in 7.
Yeah, and
Could
then
be 6.
What? Warriors versus Grizzlies. I think that's just an experience. That's just experience level, and that'll be
Warriors in 6.
Yeah, it's just like there's just levels where guys have been there. It's just like it shows, and coach who's been there as well. It's just like
I mean Kerr between playing and coaching, that'll be like his 9th time being there. Steph and KO, it'll be their 4th and 5th barring injuries.
I probably say like Golden State in 5 probably
Against the Suns?
or
against Memphis. Okay, so let's just stay on that side just so we can pick conference champ and then we'll pick a winner.
Suns.
What is your opinion on that? I'm really curious because I think we have different takes.
I have been very big on the Suns team all year. I'm like, dude,
I know.
it's just like it's just so the same roster as last year, but they just are clicking so much more. You know, this is the highest win team since I think
Since 73 and 9, correct.
Yeah.
Not talked about.
Yeah,
I know that they
no.
don't get me wrong, they weren't close. It's not you're going to get places in like 14th of all time.
Yeah.
It's damn impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of what the Warriors have done, we really have not seen a team
and
do
with
that.
games like players gone, like
Chris Paul missing
the
10
big
games.
3 like gone for
Yeah.
like a whole week. Like Cam Johnson is really filling his own like
Ugly
ballers.
jump shot and all. He
Yeah.
hits those. I mean, for real.
Like just Jay Crowder who's just the LeBron stopper.
So with that being said,
I love campaign. Oh my god.
yeah, campaign and I'm a big
The,
fan.
the entire Lakers series, I think last year, all I said was, "We're not playing multiplayer. We're playing campaign."
I love those
He plays
memes. So with that being said, what's your prediction?
I
Warriors Suns. How many games? Who wins?
say Suns in 6.
I say Warriors in 6.
I understand. It just I
And
think it's
that's-
gonna be a great series.
I don't think that's biased, and I am a Warriors fan. I've said that. My justification is, like I said, their starting 5 hasn't played together. Their rotation with having Poole and Clay and Steph healthy is absurd at the guard position. I mean, more absurd than I just don't see a world where I think the world I see is where no matter who Chris Paul guards, he's getting 30-pieced every night. I don't care if it's Steph. Steph will 35-piece you. Clay will 30-piece you. And Jordan Poole is 3 inches taller than you, will 30-piece you. I think that's a big thing that sticks out for me. I think the Suns' advantage is Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton as the Warriors play small ball. And if it works to that point, Dre isn't sitting on the bench for Kayvon Looney because we've seen them win 73 games with Draymond Green starting at center.
The thing what stopped like the Suns in the finals last year was because someone could guard DeAndre Ayton. That was Giannis. You literally saw the wand.
Literally was why, yes.
It's just like
So,
you
I
utilize
think
him and
I think I go Steph. I just think that the guard position they're so overpowered than the Sun. I think that like when it comes down to getting a bucket and at the end of the day like this is like it. But playoff basketball is so different than when you're playing.
yeah.
When you're playing Milwaukee, who's resting all their starters, and then you're playing Brooklyn, who has Bruce Brown at point guard that night. Like it's very different. I think that veteran experience comes in. I think that Clay is on his roll. I mean, he's up to his shooting percent. I think Jordan Poole isn't unguardable, but I think when you have 2 other guys that can shoot the clip at 50% and drop damn near 30 pieces on every playoff night, and then you have Draymond Green, whoever you want him to guard, he's going to guard. And Wiggins, too. I mean, Wiggins can match up against all of the Suns' 3s and 4s, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. I think Yeah. So I think Warriors in 6. You say Suns in 6.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to the East real quick and run it through, and then we'll make a little finals prediction. Wrap this John up.
Yeah. It would be Heat and Sixers, right? Heat Sixers. I think Sixers. I think Sixers in 5. I think it's gonna be very dominant because I think it's tougher battle them versus Toronto because it's just so evenly matched. I feel like they can be so big.
Sixers in 6. I think that Miami's good enough where when they have that,
I feel
they
a little
have
fraud to them. We'll feel a little fraud.
And the reason I'm saying 6, I think that they split those 2 games to start it in Miami, and then I think that you see the Sixers going to roll, and then I think that Miami snags a game 5 or 6.
Yeah. Bucks, and you got Nets. I got Celtics. I say Celtics.
7.
I think by that series, I think Robert Williams will be back.
Oh, he'll be back by then. So I think
if
that's what
they
they've said is that if they make it to that point,
Mm-hmm.
he'll be back. But I have a little crazy plot twist for you. I have Nets winning the series before. I have them beating Milwaukee in 7, and then I also have them beating the Sixers.
That's funny because I literally have Celtics at least beating them, and I think it's gonna be 7 because I think it's just me.
I like it.
Brutal battle, and I
And
literally see them beating Sixers. I just see them beating the Sixers.
The only reason why I'm not throwing the Bucks in there all the way, one, repeating is very hard. I mean, it's very, very, very hard. I mean, I've seen that proven in every sport for decades.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to do. 2, I don't think it's like an understatement, like with, I mean, not to throw football in the equation, with football sport. Everyone always said with Lamar Jackson a year or 2, and people are going to figure this out. I think with Giannis, at least, they're going to have zones and traps be thrown at him that in the regular season aren't worth doing. And I think that when you have someone like Kevin Durant, I call him K, when you have someone like Kevin Durant who can match him for 7 games straight, minute to minute, play for play, and I'm not saying clamp him up in any sense. I don't think Giannis can clamp up him.
Because these matchups are always so fun.
Yeah.
Even regular season.
Yeah.
They drop like 50 points.
Oh, yeah. But I think that I don't think either one can guard each other. I think they are the 2 best players to match up with each other.
So fun.
I think that's fair to say.
It's 2 completely
they're
different.
the same height, but they play completely different.
Yeah.
So it makes it so fun because it's 2 polar opposite play styles, but the same height.
With the same body type.
Yeah, I mean, I think Giannis was like 50 pounds more.
Yeah.
Giannis is a lot bigger, but
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
That
They
length.
look like the arms, the jump. Yeah, so
It's crazy.
with that being said, I'm going to go. This is a funny take. I'm going to go Warriors, Nets, and Warriors in 5. I think it's very, very easy. I think it's not easy. I don't want to say ever playing Kevin Durant is easy. I don't see them winning that series.
I say, I think it's going to be Celtics in 6 versus the Suns.
That series for the NBA. And I've heard so many people, even you, Trey, say, "Oh, people want LeBron." I go, no one cares. They won
No.
like 30 games.
Last year was so much fun. Last year was so much fun.
And I can agree. Who cares? Maybe the commissioner does. No one who watched a basketball game this year cares. Nobody. I mean, when people that were complaining about not having a Warriors I go, dude, I would rather watch Suns Warriors 10 times or Celtics Nets 10 times over than that.
Yeah.
But I do think for basketball, the most fun 2 series are Warriors Nets or Suns Celtics. I think it causes the most drama and tension. It causes the most talk.
It's just different, and
It's different. It's a young dominant.
Yeah, young.
Outside of KD,
It's just like something
those
different.
guys are very young.
Yeah, like last year it was so fun. It was like we've never seen Giannis, we've never seen Devin Booker, Chris Paul. Like it was just we
Never
haven't
seen
seen
him in
these
that.
guys
Yeah.
in the biggest moment of their entire lives,
Mhm.
and it was just so fun. It just didn't feel like almost like a regular season game,
I have a fun thing. Pick a team in the bottom 5 in each conference you think could be in the championship game. 5, 6, 7, or 8. Because neither one of us have a.
Yeah,
I have the Nets, who's a 7. So I'm only asking.
I could say Nets biggest chance.
I think Nets and Jazz, mainly because there could be a chance if Jamal's going off and Book has a few off nights that they could compete. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying could.
Yeah.
Those are my only 2. I'm just saying just because
My top 3, I guess,
a lot of favorites.
Would be Nets number 1 if it's power rankings.
Mhm.
2 would be, weirdly enough, I was thinking them, but they're just too young for me. I would say Jazz and then Nuggets.
All right, well.
That's weird. But yeah,
Nuggets, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, this is
this is playoffs. It gets crazy.
It's playoffs. we'll have to see how often we do episodes. It'll be hard because there's like tonight, like we're recording Thursday. It'll be hard some nights because there will be games. Get into a new groove, kind of transition from full football and interviews, and I hope everyone loved the Eric Berry interview.
Yeah, we're trying to do more.
Have some players on more consistently, but I mean a real cool transition between football and basketball, and I think that's fair to say after kind of, I think we're not too clueless about basketball. It's kind of was my first love. Like
literally when
we both said
first
that.
talked about it, well, I mean I love football, but
basketball's my first love.
I talked about it. I followed it every 82.
I played it for 12 years.
I watched every Blazer 82 game.
So
yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed this. We'll start trying to record twice a week.
Yeah.
Playoffs. So see you next week.
Later.